Come join Libby and Molly, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we build a resourceful community of collaborative resellers.
Hey, Libby, how are you?
Excellent.
Welcome everybody to episode 85 of Consignment Chats, aka C Chats. And today, one of our favorite episodes, the C Chat Spotlight.
I'm going to say, go ahead, give this video a thumbs up because I know right now that you're going to love it. And if you're on Apple Podcasts, drop us a review. We love it. If you want to include your business name, we will include that when we read your review. So
yes.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Let's go.
Oh, this is good. Let's go. Let's do it. Hey, Maggie, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you.
We're so excited you're here, and we cannot wait for you to introduce yourself to our C Chatters and our community and all of our amazing listeners. So start by telling us who you are, the name of your business, and where people can find you.
So, hi, everyone. My name's Maggie. I am a mom in Maryland. That's the first thing I do. My business name is Refashioned Hippie, and I started reselling when I got pregnant and had to quit my job, and it's just taken off, and I've absolutely fallen in love with it. I am on Poshmark, eBay, Mercari, and there's another one, Facebook. I'm on Facebook. I tried Depop, but I'm too old. I learned that and it was painful. So no more Depop. And please come find me on Instagram. I love meeting members of the reselling community. I just started a YouTube, and again, learning I'm old apparently, but that's been fun too. So
your YouTube is awesome. Let me tell you, your upcycling tutorials and everything. I'm in love. I'm absolutely in love. Great job.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I try to upcycle everything I can't use, which is why the structural integrity of my house is under threat, because I've just been keeping. But it's really fun. And if you do go to my YouTube, you can see there's a lot of things that don't necessarily require a lot of skill, because that's who I am.
That's why I identified with it, I guess.
Oh, I love it.
Yes, that's a great resource.
Yep. So I was going to ask you your why, what got you started, but you just told us.
Nailed it.
You know, I really love reselling, and I'm going to climb on my soapbox. So just bear with me.
But wait, do you want to borrow mine?
You have one. You want to borrow it?
I have been using my skills for good, not evil. My mom started an organization called Sanctuary Village, which is a nonprofit that is building a tiny house community for the homeless in Philadelphia. And I'm very blessed that I was able to start rebelgirlthrift.com, which is my own sort of thrift store website, virtual thrift store. And 20% of the profits go to her organization. And my husband is a 3D printer. So we make these little planters that you can use, that you just water them right here, and all of the money goes to help with construction. So it's a wonderful example of just ways that you can use your skills for good. And I tricked my husband into it, but he's still very much a part of it.
I love those. Can you hold that up one more time? We
yeah.
can picture that so we can put it on our social media for those that podcast.
Now, are those available on Rebel Girl Thrift?
Oh, they should be. They're going to be. Oh, I'm going to do that. Yes.
Yeah,
I didn't see those over on your website.
If you want your own, you can go to tinyhousecommunity.org. And all of the money goes directly into building the houses. And this is just a really cute little thing you can have. It says on the back, "This house built a home." Website on the bottom. But it's a wonderful example of ways that you can just, anything you do can be used to help other people. And I love that in my own business, I'm making money for my daughter. It goes right into her college fund. But it's all about recycling. You know, every single piece that I sell is something that was either donated to me by a neighbor, because my neighbors have been amazing and I love you guys, or I got it from a thrift store, or the bins, my favorite place in the universe. But it's all recycling. It's my entire business. My daughter's future is being built on things that other people didn't want. And I love that. I love that. So the fact that I'm able to give back even a little bit more is wonderful.
Yeah, I was so excited about today and speaking with you because we have a really strong belief in community and incorporating that into your business. And I think you are a prime example of doing that and standing for something more. And not only are you recycling, but you've pulled in an actual tiny house community.
Listen, I am a plantaholic, and I will be a very near future owner of some little tiny houses to support tiny houses.
Yeah. I mean, that is really, I can't wait to check it out. And we're in, I'm in close proximity to Philadelphia. I lived in Conshohocken. My business is Conchi Consignment. So I'm in the Lehigh Valley now in Pennsylvania, but anything Philadelphia is near and dear to my heart. So that is really exciting to have that connection as well.
Yes.
So how would you describe your mission? Like, I think a lot of it is recycling, community, but.
I mean, I just want people to know that you don't have to have something new. You don't have to have something expensive to be your best self. I think that we have all experienced, when you're going on a first date or when you're going on a job interview, you want a new outfit, you want a new necklace, you want new shoes, because there's something about that just gives you this confidence. And, in this time where I think all of us need to be watching our dollars a little bit closer, you can get that by shopping at a small business, by supporting someone in your own community, by supporting a small business that gives back. And it's still new to you, whether you're buying something brand new in the mall or whether you're buying something off of a website like mine or a website like eBay, you can still have that confidence and know that you've done good. And I just think that that's a wonderful thing. And again, it's all based technically on garbage. So I love that.
So you're an author. You have 2 books that are published on Amazon right now.
I brought them.
Oh, yay.
I couldn't decide which was more appealing. We do have a C Chats book club, and we had been talking about, we vote on the books we're going to do, that we wanted to throw a reseller book in the mix. And I think it might be yours.
Oh, thank you. Honestly, I wrote this for me. So this is the Clothing Reseller's Handbook. And thank you. I was going to try to sneak this in like I did the planter, You barely noticed. Yeah.
This is the spotlight on you and everything you were doing. You don't have to sneak anything in. You give it to us. Yeah.
I wrote this for me because there's so much information that you just have to keep locked in your head as a reseller, especially for clothing. And that's just absolutely impossible. So one thing that I did, I'm looking through my book now. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
I'm vamping. Great. You'll never know. I put in just style guides because I don't remember every name of every pair of pants.
Right.
And I wrote this book and I refer to it at least once a week. Chico's vanity sizing. There's just all this information that no one else in the world has, but you need to have it. So I wrote this just to be truly a handbook. So it's not a book that you have to read cover to cover to get the whole thing. Skip around, absolutely skip around. I talk about my inventory system, and you guys know, I mean, you are the queens of inventory system. If you don't have an inventory system, please, I'm looking into the camera, get an inventory system. It'll make your life so much easier. But if you have one that's working, skip that chapter, that's fine. Right. But there's so much information. I wanted to be able to give this back to the reselling community. Especially because, as you guys know, we are a community and so many people helped me along the way. So you can buy a hard copy, you can buy a Kindle copy, but if you have the Kindle Unlimited, you can read it for free.
That is amazing. So, all right, I'm guilty. There is one thing I look up all the time. It drives me crazy. And I don't know why I haven't sleeve styles. I cannot remember sleeve styles. Is it a
How
dolman?
many
Is it a
times,
batwing?
right?
Is it?
And how
That
many
is the
times
one
do
that
I
gets
call
me.
it something it's not? And I'm like, ugh. I'm
Ooh,
always.
I'm going to put you on the spot here for a second.
Okay.
And maybe
All
you
right.
don't have the answer to it. That's fine. All right. Here's something that is it Racerback Tank or is it Razorback Tank? Or is it either?
It is
Racer.
Racer.
Okay.
Yes, it is Racer, and I know why, and I don't know why I know why, but it is Racer because it is designed after the women's bra that has that shape so that you can run. It's supposed to be like less impactful than wearing a normal bra, so it is Racer.
All right. Because
There you
I
have it.
always thought it was Racer. And recently I've been seeing Razorback on a lot of listings. So, all right, I'm glad we cleared that up once and for all. It's Racerback, folks.
No, it's like who and whom. Like nobody knows, nobody cares, but there's so many little things, and it's amazing to me that if I'm wrong, like if I say something is a batwing sleeve, but it is a dolman sleeve, somebody on eBay will be like, excuse me. Like that's the negative review that I get. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry. One person in the universe who actually knew that I disappointed you. Like, yeah.
Right.
You can't make everybody happy. That is just life. That is life.
There's always somebody out there on eBay ready to tell you what you've mislisted. Always. Sometimes very kindly.
I love it when people tell me. I love it when people come to me.
It depends on how it's given, though. Like sometimes I get it and I love it. It's such great information. It saves me time. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I couldn't find this. This is wonderful. And every now and then it comes out a little snarky, and I'm more like, you need to find something else to do.
I have to say, I'm always really surprised by the people who reach out truly just wanting to help you, because you would think, given the basic description of what we do, the basic description of consignment and reselling, that it's a zero-sum game. You know, if you guys sell a pair of jeans, I don't sell that pair of jeans. And it's the exact opposite.
Yeah,
like we truly want each other to succeed. And I think that's such a wonderful thing, especially in an industry that is primarily woman-based and women-owned. You know, people always think we're, you know, catty. It's like, no, I want my sisters to do well. I'm so proud of you guys for how successful you are. And if you just keep growing, I'm nothing but happy for you. So I love when people send those messages, just saying, like, hey, here, you said it was this. It's not. It's like, thanks, girl.
Right.
I mean, on Instagram, I think like half of my Instagram reels is me saying like, hey, how the hell do you identify like a Lululemon size? Because it's tricky, blah, blah. And a woman's like, oh, in the bra, go in the thing. Like people tell
those
you.
Things are crazy. The Lululemon sizing is, oh my gosh. Yeah. It's an art in and of itself, I think.
That could be my next book, is like the stripes mean something. Like every single Lululemon piece terrifies me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That could be a whole book. I think you should seriously consider that.
All right. So tell us about the other book. So you have the Reseller's Handbook. The other one I think is hilarious, and I'm excited to read it.
So I think anyone who's worked retail will understand my title. This is the book that I wrote about working for retail for a decade, and it's called Why I Hate Everything. Pretty self-explanatory. So I worked for 2 years at a donut shop, because I'm not using brand names because I don't want to get sued. And then I worked for about 8 years in various thrift stores. And I started writing this book kind of accidentally 18 years ago, because I would just come home from the donut shop, which was my first real job ever, and just tell my mom about my day. And she would say, like, you have to write this down. You have to write this down. You have to write this down, because crazy things happened every day. A woman actually tried to throw a cash register at my head, and I learned they're bolted down, which made me more suspicious. And then it just sort of took off. And for the next 10 years, I would just write about my day. And if you have any interest in what really goes on behind thrift store doors, like, this is the book for you, because I tell a lot. And
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And anyone
that's
who's
really exciting.
worked in retail, you have your own stories. Like, I know you have your own stories. And my favorite thing about this book is when people read it, they're like, oh, can I tell you about this one time? And it's like, yes, you can tell. Like, I want to know. Because everybody has something crazy. And especially, I truly believe this, if you have worked in the food service industry, you're just a better person. You're just a better person because you've
Right.
seen the dark, crazy side of humanity.
That's what I told my daughter when she was working at the local pizza shop. Yeah. She was like, I was like, everybody needs to do this once in their life, and it just gives you, it sets you up for life, man. You can handle stuff. You know where people are coming from. You'll be able to survive any job if you survive working in the food industry. That's my feeling on it.
It is very humbling. It is definitely very, very
Yes.
humbling.
I think that and teaching middle school.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm not brave enough. Oh no, I'm not brave. My daughter's at daycare right now, and her daycare teacher has 8 kids there, and like 2 of them would wander off. 1 of them would starve if I was in charge. Like people who God made to handle children are amazing to me. Cause like we wanted 2 or 3. We thought, yeah, 3, make sure they all have friends. And then we had 1 and we're like, let's get a dog when she's 10.
Well, I have 2 children that are, almost adults now. And Molly has 1 who's an adult. And Molly is very into childhood development, and you were a preschool teacher for a lot of years. She is one of those special people.
Yeah.
I am not. That would be my hell on earth. Like,
I love them.
there are lots of things I can do, and that is absolutely not one of them. Love my own kids to death, would do anything for them, but I agree.
Well, and I will
Special.
say, I did try 2-year-olds for 1 school year. And I did determine that one time that I don't care what a 2-year-old teacher or a middle school teacher makes. I put them in the same category. If you are a 2-year-old teacher or middle school teacher, you do not make enough money. I don't care how much you make. It's not enough. I like 3, 4, 5. That's my jam.
And just a side note, but to anyone who has kids in school, just remember that like your kid's teacher doesn't end at 3:30 at the end of the day. It's like they're going home, they're grading tests, they're setting up projects for the next day. Like they're tired. They're tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been especially challenging couple of years for teachers, for anybody that works in the school system, I think. I mean, it's been challenging for our children, but it's also been very challenging for the teachers.
100%. Yeah.
So you started this journey when you were pregnant with reselling. So after having your daughter, how has that, changed the way did it, kind of sculpt your mission, or was that more like from your parents and their
Oh no, I didn't plan on being a reseller. I just honestly, I quit my job when I was pregnant because it felt unfair to make them keep paying me to throw up at my desk or sleep in the bathroom. So I quit my job and I played The Witcher 3 for a week straight. And then I felt like, okay, like now I have to do something. I can't just watch my husband go to work every day and come back and do nothing. So I started on Poshmark and I loved it. And it was relatively easy. So I leaned into it and I just thought I'll do this until I have my daughter, and then I'll, stay home a little bit and then go get a real job. And then I had my daughter and I was just like, okay, so I can't leave. So I can never leave. And I didn't understand how parents could go back to work. It was just like, this is a little baby.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very, very blessed that reselling really took off for me. And I was able to stay home and be a full-time mom and be a full-time reseller. And now I make a full-time job's income and I get to be a stay-at-home mom. And I'm very blessed by that. And
Wow.
It is thanks to the community. Thanks to companies like List Perfectly that have just made my life easier.
Mhm.
Photo Room, I see you.
Right? Yeah.
But I get to do this. I get to stay home and I get to be a mom, and I am so incredibly blessed to have that be a part of my story.
I love that.
That's amazing.
I'm glad that you're able to do that.
I think we're going to need to do at some point a See It with C Chats episode with you where we go through, like, those are the episodes where we actually go through the business process and show what tools people use and kind of the life cycle of an item and how you do your inventory. I think you would be amazing at that. And I think people would definitely want to see that. But I am going to ask you one question or a couple questions about your process. What are your primary platforms? Where do you get most of your income? What does that all look like?
So I started with Poshmark. Poshmark will always be my home. But eBay has really changed my business. I was afraid to do eBay for a long time because it just seems so much more difficult than something like Mercari, where there's not any sort of, social element to it, or where there's not any, like the item specifications on eBay, you all know, like it's crazy.
That's where the reseller handbook comes in.
Oh my God.
Hello.
But if you can do eBay, you can do anything. I mean, like once I sold my first high priced item on eBay and it got accepted and I got my positive review back, I felt like, okay, let's go climb Everest. Let's do it. Now's the time, because it just, it's only scary until you've done it, and then you can do it. And then you can do it. And then you can tackle the next thing. So from there, I started joining other platforms. And I've tried a bunch of different ones. And, I think all of us have that little voice in the back of our head that says, like, you're not working hard enough. Like, you should be expanding. You should be doing this. And let me tell you, sometimes that voice is a liar. Sometimes she's right. Sometimes she's a liar. So I tried, like, Kitizen, wasn't for me. Depop, not for me. I found out there's something called Grandma Core. Left Depop, done with that. But I've stuck to my main 4, and that's where I'm happy to be. And I'm always going to be interested in expanding. I might try Grailed. If I can get over looking at myself on camera, I'll try Whatnot. But it's nice to feel like I found my place. I found where I'm safe and I can keep growing from there.
Wow.
And I do just want to mention briefly, I'm sorry, I hijack everything. Again,
this is your spotlight. Go with it.
I haven't seen people except my daughter in 3 years. So when you give me the opportunity to talk, like, this is on you. What happens next?
I hear you. I hear you.
I get about 80 to 90% of my inventory from donations. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you guys know with consignment, like, that's not your stuff. You're not going out and finding it. People bring it to you. Mm-hmm. So if you're a new reseller, or if you're thinking about starting reselling, I would say consider donations. You don't get the highest end items, sure, but I'm building a future for my child. I have a full-time income on Old Navy and Forever 21. So it's worth thinking about if you're struggling to get inventory, or you don't have like the startup income that you would like to have. People want to help. And I can tell you, if you ask anybody like, hey, do you have any old clothes? The answer is going to be yes. Mm-hmm. The answer will be yes. And somebody might tell you like, oh, you know what? I have these 2 pairs of jeans. Once they go home and start actually looking through their closet with a critical eye, they'll come back with 2 trash bags. Like, oh yeah, I could do it right now. I promise you. Mm-hmm. And they want to help. Your friends want to help you. And you're doing a service by getting stuff out of their house. And they're doing a service by helping you. So it's only good. I know it can be awkward initially to say like, can I have your old stuff? But it's worth it and everybody wins.
Yeah, definitely put yourself out there. It's amazing what happens when you start speaking about what you do. And, I think your point is great. Like, start where you are. You don't need all the bells and whistles. I always say, just start where you are with what you have. If it's a donation, doesn't have to be high end, but just get started. Because once that ball, starts rolling, it just, yeah.
Especially if you're learning, because if you're learning, you don't want to be selling a Louis Vuitton bag. You want to be selling a pair of American Eagle jeans, because if you're going to mess up when it's safe for you to mess up when you don't have all of that money invested.
Yeah,
that's a very good point. All right, I have a question. You said you love the bins, so you clearly source from some places, and I love to source. Mm-hmm. I want to know what a trip to the bins is like for you, because we laugh at me because I am literally like, it's a full body workout.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's your sport. It's an Olympic sport for Molly.
I want to
Absolutely.
know. I want to know what a trip to the bins is for you.
So it starts with my husband because I don't take my daughter anymore. My daughter is 3.5, and I used to try to go thrifting with her. No. So I only go when someone else is watching my kid. And you are 100% right. Like, I prepare for it like an Olympic person. Like, I carb up the night before. I put my hair in full braids so it's out of my face. Like, I wear jeans, which I never ever wear, so that I can have my phone. I can have all my stuff. Like, I'm ready to go.
I love it.
I bring my own bags, so I don't want to slow down that process at all. Like, I am not necessarily competitive. And it's funny to me because I go to some nicer areas that have bins, and people are so nice. They're like, oh, are you looking for vintage? Third from the left, there was some vintage in there. My bins in my home, like, I'm from Glen Burnie. Like, like it's elbows and knees when a new bin comes out. You know, so I don't play. But I love shopping there. So for anyone who hasn't been, the bins is Goodwill. Anything that doesn't sell in a regular Goodwill store, they send to a bin store. And we call it the bins. It's technically an outlet store because they have these very large blue literal bins that get wheeled out. And they're not organized. And it's always funny to read like reviews online of bins where they're like, I thought they were supposed to be by color. And it's like, no, Susie, no, you're in the wrong place.
Right.
They're literally just bins of clothing. And you will find, I mean, you'll find a Chanel skirt right next to like a pair of old underwear.
Yes,
like,
100%.
But I think bins are completely worth going to because you pay by the pound. So it's usually less than $2 for clothing. And that's a real example that I just gave you, is a pair of used underwear next to a Chanel skirt, because it's whatever didn't sell in the regular store. So sometimes that's because it's got a huge pit stain or it's got a hole in it. Sometimes I found amazing stuff that was just priced too high. And, you know, I mean, we all pass up. It's like, no, I'm not paying $50 for a jacket at Goodwill.
Right.
So it doesn't sell. It ends up in the bins and you get it for $3. Like, there's amazing stuff in there. I will just say, be prepared to hunt, because when I go to a thrift store, I can be in and out in 20 minutes. When I go to the bins, it's 2 hours.
That's what I was going to ask you. What?
I look for very specific things. Because if I'm actually going to spend the money, like, I am the worst miser. I am the Ebenezer Scrooge of Second Avenue, because I don't risk my money. So like, I won't pay for a pair of Nike shoes. I will walk through and see, is there Tory Burch? Are there Teaks? No, good day to you. That's it. Like, if I don't see Rothy's, I'm out.
Gotcha.
But at the bins, I look for everything. Like, because I don't just pick up a sweater and see it's Ann Taylor. It's like, is it Ann Taylor and is it cashmere and is it blah, blah, blah? Like, I'll look up all the details on it. And I will tell you, if you're going to go, fill up your cart and then look stuff up, because if somebody picks something up, you don't get that thing. So I go through, I completely fill my cart, and then pull yourself aside, get a second cart, and then go through, do the yes, maybe, no's.
That's good advice right there.
Yeah, I did not do that.
Okay.
I've only been once. It was a little too aggressive for me. For my,
it's not for everybody. It's the difference between football and rugby. Like, yeah.
And when they wheel that new bin out, boy, people are on it like flies on poo. It's like a race to the new bin. I mean, those poor pushers can't get halfway out the door before they're getting attacked.
Oh, see, my girls are tough. Are tough. If you approach the bin, they will get you. Like,
so ours were roped off.
Yeah.
Oh, see, you're fancy.
Until they like, no, I think people were just that aggressive, is they had to like rope them off, and you weren't allowed to, cross.
I don't think a rope would stop the people around here. They'd go under that rope, and they probably bring scissors, clip it, and keep moving. But I love that you go into source of the thrift store and you just stick with specific things. I cannot tell you how many times I have walked in the door with that intention. And I fail every time.
I mean, that's easy. That's really easy to do. And I'm not going to say that I've never done it, but my big motivator is my daughter, because I don't spend any of the money that I make. It all goes directly into her college fund. So every time I make a purchase, that comes out of her college fund, like every purchase that I make for the business. So for me, it has to really be worth it. And I have actually done it where I've stood there and I've held a dress and I've been like, is this $20 worth her maybe not being able to buy a book for college? Is it worth it? And if the answer is no, I do not buy it. And I frame it that way because that's my money. And the same way I used to talk to myself about money when I was working in a donut shop, where it's like, do I want this skirt? It's worth 6 hours of my life. Is it worth 6 hours of my life to have this skirt? If the answer is not yes, it goes back.
I think that is an awesome way to frame things. And
I do
I have
too.
to say, like, one of my pivotal moments with money came when I was a child and I wanted these ice skates. I wanted new ice skates. And my dad was like, I had to, like, be away from you guys and work, 4 hours to buy you those ice. And it was like something just like clicked in my head, like at that very moment, like, wow, all right. Yeah. Don't need the new ones. Let's go see if we can find some hand-me-downs, just what the real cost of an item is.
I'm hoping my daughter never realizes that real stores exist. I hope she just always thinks that everyone shops at thrift stores. But yeah, I mean, I want to raise her with that awareness of money, because I think that that's really important. And I mean, there's a difference between people who have always been given an allowance and haven't had have a job until they graduate college and they're 25, and people who, like, I've had a job since I was 14. And I know that sounds braggy and horrible, but just it matters. And having that money awareness, especially when you start your own business, is incredibly important. And that doesn't mean don't take risks. Of course you have to take risks. Right. In order to grow, you have to take risks, but you have to really calculate, are those risks worth it? And when you run a reselling business, every single thing you buy is a risk. Every single investment you make is a risk, and you have to calculate that.
It is.
Brilliant.
I have to tell you, as a mom, when nothing makes you more proud than when you get a text at 5:00 on a random afternoon with a picture of a pair of Nikes from your 21-year-old son that says, got these at the local Goodwill, $6.99, Mom. I'm like, that's my boy. That's my boy.
This is what we've been training for. Yes. All right.
My
So
daughter,
go ahead.
You guys don't even know, but like my daughter, she always wants to do whatever I'm doing because that's the age she's at. So her job right now is to spin my mannequin. I get it all dressed. I take my picture, she spin my mannequin. And I just can't wait to really use her for child labor. Like, I'm so looking forward to when she's old enough to take her own pictures or to help me when she's sourcing. And I will tell you, I don't know what I did, but God bless me, because if I let her like run her hand down a rack at a thrift store, she feels the expensive stuff. Like she doesn't stop at polyester. She stops at silk. So every once in a while it is like, go baby, why don't you go play? Like, it's amazing.
Wow.
She's a natural.
I'm telling you, I was impressed that I was training my husband with that, but a 3-year-old, whoa, that's nice. Really good.
Oh, my husband is the love of my life. I could not do this business without him. However, like, he's such a cutie. He tried to go thrifting with me and he'd be like, Worthington, is that good? No, put it back. Morona, stop it. Go wait in the car. Like,
you should do stand-up.
I know, you really should.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for letting me babble. Cause like I said, like, I work at home. I love it. I never have to see people. It's great. But once I get going, it's just.
Well, we have one question, since we're almost out of time, that we have to ask. What are you most proud of about your business?
At the end of every month, I calculate how much water and carbon I have saved. Every piece that I sell, I bought a little clicker from Amazon. I click every time. Right now, I'm up to 495 pieces for this year. My goal is 1,000. We'll see if I get there. Keep shopping. But like a t-shirt and a pair of jeans, they seem like really simple things, but a pair of jeans takes about 2,000 gallons of water. So if somebody buys a pair of jeans from you that already exist, you're saving 2,000 gallons of water. So for me, even though I'm this little mom in Maryland and I'm selling, a couple pieces a day, I am having a real impact on the environment. And I could not be prouder of that.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Bravo.
Beautiful.
I
Couldn't ask for
love
anything
that you
better than that.
calculate that. I keep that in my brain all the time, the all of that and the idea of that and what I'm doing, but to actually calculate it at the end of every
It really gives you a difference. And I learned that from my boss. I was working in a thrift store that benefited a homeless shelter that was attached to the store. And for $2.98, we could feed someone. And so at the end of the day, she would take the sales we made for the day and calculate how many meals we could afford to feed our residents. And so every day it made me feel so much better about coming to work, at a minimum wage job, to be like, I made a difference. I helped somebody today. And you should do that for yourself, because no matter what level you're at as a reseller, you are making a difference, and you should be so, so proud of yourself.
100%.
All right.
All right, y'all. This has been phenomenal. Maggie, I cannot thank you enough for coming and hanging out with Libby and I and chatting with us. We love having you in our group, and I know we're going to have you on again at minimum to do a See It with C chats, but I'm feeling more.
Thank you guys so much. This was so
yeah.
fun. I feel so blessed. And thank you for what you do for the community.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. Thank you. Okay. That was hilarious.
I think she just needs to do stand-up. You think there's a market for a reseller stand-up?
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
100%.
there's so much. There's just so much fodder, right?
Oh, so much. Oh, she's hilarious. And again, another soul sister, I feel like. She's
I know. And we are so lucky to be able to bring Maggie to you, and Rebel Girl Thrift and her commitment, Refashioned Hippie, to the tiny house community. And we'll be sharing some of those items on our social media. She does it all. She
really
does it all. She's
does it all.
recycling, upcycling, embracing community, raising money for a nonprofit. Wow.
And being a mom of a 3.5-year-old little peanut.
Oh, right. The most important part of that whole thing. The most important part.
Yes.
How could I forget that?
So much fun. What's going on over in the community?
All right. So we have done round tables. I want to stop and talk about that a little bit. We're members of our reselling and our reselling community, our C-Chats community on Facebook, come together, and once a quarter we like to do a round table and bring those round tables to you. We've done some on live selling, we've done some on building community in your business, and we're going to be scheduling another one. So if you're not in the Consignment Chats community, that we do that on Facebook. We record an episode. You're welcome to come and ask questions. You're welcome to share your expertise. So it's really just a great opportunity for everybody that is a part of the community. And I love just meeting other resellers in that way. And every time we do one, I think everyone walks away thinking about things in a way they haven't before, or thinking about their business or another idea for their business that they haven't before. So I'm just really excited to get the next one going. So hop in the C-Chats community and you can check it out. It's going to be awesome. And we'd love to have you. Yes.
And to find us in that community and everywhere that we are, you just go to consignmentchats.com.
Yeah,
absolutely. And you can find us everywhere.
Yep.
Everywhere that we put ourselves. Hey, Libby.
Yeah.
Until next week, my friend.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining Libby and Molly, the ladies of Consignment Chats, as we build a resourceful community of collaborative resellers. Find all the ways to connect with us at consignmentchats.com. Episodes are available on YouTube and anywhere you get your podcasts. In addition, You can find us on Facebook in our Consignment Chats community. Until next time.